Hello everybody, I'm Rusty. I want to welcome you to Island Breeze Tropicals. So today we're going to be talking about one of the families of bromeliads. This is the Bromeliad Family Tree, and today we're going to be talking about Neoregelias. You know what? Sun is shining, the island breeze is blowing. It's time that you and I got growing. Come on, let's talk about a family of bromeliads called Neoregelia. So we're going to be talking about a family of bromeliads. It's actually a genus called Neorigilia. Okay, so let's do a little bit of taxonomy. Don't go to sleep, don't click off. This won't take any time at all. But a genus is a grouping of plants that share similar characteristics. So you've got family, and then you've got genus, that would be Neoregelia, and then you have all the species and cultivars underneath of that. See, I told you it really wasn't that painful. So Neoregelias do have some characteristics that hardly any other bromeliads have, and I'm going to show you what they are in just a sec. So when we're talking about genera in bromeliads, there are 74. That means 74 groupings of bromeliads that share similar characteristics in each grouping. So when it comes to neos, why don't we call them that? Neoregelia doesn't exactly roll off of the tongue. So when it comes to neos, there are at least 104 species that are recognized and well over 4,100 different cultivars. And that's where you take Bromeliad 1 and Bromeliad 2 and you cross them and you get something like this. This is called Neorigilia lucifer. So one of the things that is typical of this genus and really is a hallmark and identification is the inflorescence. Now, unlike this Ichmea, and you can see the inflorescence comes out of the rosette, and that makes it easy for pollinators to get to. Neos do not have an inflorescence that rises above the cup, and it stays down in the tank. I'm going to see if I can get that up there for you. And as you can see, there's the inflorescence. It's really, really tiny. And again, it will never get above that point. Okay, so this is going to show, I hope, the inflorescence that is typical of all Neoregelias. This again is blushing tiger. And here's why an inflorescence is not correctly a flower. Because this right here, as you can see right there, that is a flower. So that's one of the easiest ways to tell if you have a neo. Now here's another Neoregelia, and I think you can see that the inflow is right down in the cup. So when you buy a Neoregelia, don't expect what people call a flower spike. It's an inflorescence. It's okay if you call it a flower. The plant really doesn't know or care. But what you buy neos for is their beautiful foliage color. Now this is a Neorigilia Raphael. It hasn't really colored up all that much. Now we did another video, well, some time ago that I'd like you to look at about bromeliad color, and it'll tell you everything you need to know about that, I hope. So neos come in all sorts of different sizes, from small. Now this is a cross, it's an unnamed variety, and I think it's Albiflora x Lilliputiana, and as you can see, this neo has some really nice stolons, and they come mid-size as well. And this is Neoregelia Blushing Tiger. It's a Lisa Vinzant hybrid. She's one of my favorite hybridizers too. She has beautiful color. To even larger bromeliads, this is Carcardon Rainbow. Take a look at that color. So another characteristic that has to do with the inflorescence being in the bottom of the tank and never rising above the cup is pretty interesting. So if you take a look at this Raphael that I just showed you, you can see that the rosette is pretty much upright. Now this has not got a flower structure. It does not have an inflorescence. Not yet. It's a pretty young plant. But we're back to this blushing tiger, and if you take a look, you can see that the rosette is slightly flattened. You can see that the leaves are sitting more to the horizontal and less to the vertical plane. How come? Well, this has come into flower, and if this was growing in the wild, now this wouldn't be growing in the wild because this is a cultivar, but maybe its parents did. If there are pollinators, now they are able to fly in here and pollinate this plant. Whereas if it's like the Raphael, they can't get in there to the inflorescence. So I hope you can see, get some idea as to what the rosette is like before the plant starts to form an inflorescence. And if you take a look, you can see that a lot of the leaves are 45 degrees to 90. This is again Neo-Raphael. But if you take a look at this blushing tiger, I think you can see that a lot of the leaves have gone to the horizontal. They're not sticking straight up. And so that would allow pollinators to fly in and pollinate the little teeny tiny flowers, just like that one that you see there. So with over 4,100 different cultivars in Neorigelia, it's no surprise that there is a huge amount of diversity in colors and patterns. And even though I have an awful lot here at the Tangle, I want to take you on a tour of one of my favorite places, Sundance Orchids and Bromeliads, and I'm going to show you just how many there can be. Now, I have lots of bromeliads at the Tangle, but in order to show you the huge diversity of color in Neoregelias, I have come to Sundance Orchids, and I want to show you all of the Neos that are here. It's many more than what I have. This is Super Fireball. As you can see, it's got some wonderful color to it. This is Neoregelia Margaret. And this is what Neos really do best, and that is all of this wonderful, wonderful color. And if you want to brighten up a spot that's a little shady, then you have something like this, Neoregelia Hawaii. This is Neoregelia Raphael, and it gets some really, really nice color to it. So again, Neoregelias are not going to get an inflorescence that rises above the cup, but by golly, when you have color like this, I would respectfully ask the question, who needs an inflorescence? It's impossible, really, given the time frame of these videos, to show you everything, but this gives you, I think, a really good idea as to all of the wonderful colors. So I want to give a shout out to my good friends at Sundance Orchids and Bromeliads in Fort Myers, Florida. So no matter where you are, I hope your sun is shining. I hope you have an island breeze blowing. I know that you ought to keep growing and have some fun. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.